Hi, I'm Ryan McCabe, lead agent designer on Agents of Mayhem.
Hi, I'm Anoop Shakar. I'm the project design director for Agents of Mayhem.
Together, I'm here to understand your title, wonderful title, but what are you doing really day after day for the game?
Day after day for the game, I'm in charge of making sure that our team is getting everything it needs to bring our agents to life. So, coordinating with our animation team, our character art team, writing team, just everybody involved with making an agent is somebody that I have to talk to make sure that we are doing our best to make these characters playable, fun, unique.
Same question for you.
So, as a project design director, I have to coordinate all the designers. I work with everybody to make sure that all of the designs in the game, whether it's the agents, the combat, the level design, the missions, are all being built together and moving in the same direction.
Now, truly, who has the best work from you or you?
Probably.
Well, if you have to pitch the game, not with any advertising soap or so, how you explain to your best friend which game is Agent Mayhem?
Uh, Basically, I would say Agents of Mayhem is like the Volition take on a G.I. Joe type game. So, using lots of super agents to basically fight bad guys all around the world.
Yeah, it's bad versus evil. You are a group that is above the law, and collateral damage really isn't important to you. But you will do what it takes to stop Legion, and your motivations as an individual character in Mayhem, they might not be the purest. You might just be there because you want to kick somebody's ass, and that's fine. But yeah, just that over the top GI Joe feel.
Okay, so the baddest you are, the best it is?
The more, well, it really depends on how you want to play the game, right? Like if you want to take a character that is all about just running around and beating up Legion, that's totally fine. Some of our characters are a bit more serious, and they have noble causes, and that's what's really cool about the game is that the agents all have their own reasons for being part of this group, and you get to find out their stories as you play.
If you have to choose one point in the game from which you are very proud, which one it is?
For me, it's the fact that we made 12 playable agents, well, 14 with the pre-orders, that are all very different. They have a lot of their own abilities, and they're a lot of fun to play, and they have their own character and the way their animations come across. All of that, having 12 playable agents is, for me, one of the best things about our game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased toward the agents, and the fact that we have these beautifully animated 2D cutscenes to introduce each of them to play into that 80s Saturday morning cartoon kind of feel, and each of these agents has their own mission that you go on to learn more about them, and you're able to really connect with all these different characters, find out who they are.
And is it difficult to create a story, a universe, a design unique today?
I mean, it's always a challenge, whether it's something we've done before or whether it's a new world. For us, it's making we never have a shortage of ideas, so it's a matter of which ideas are the best ones to use. But it's also one of the most fun parts of the process to figure out what we need to put in and what works.
It's an open world, so is it easy to create a story for an open world?
Uh, yeah, it's definitely challenging. I mean, we need to we need to have a good story, because even if it's an open world and you can kind of do whatever you want, most players still need a reason for why they're doing what they're doing, and engage with them to tell that. And they need to identify with the characters, whether they're playing against them or fighting against them. And so having the story in an open world is still very important, even if it's not the same as a linear game.
And the inspiration for the design, where you find your inspiration to create the characters?
I mean, at Volition, we kind of know the kinds of games we make from like tone perspective, and how we want our humor to come across. But when we were looking at making Agents of Mayhem, we were thinking like, well, what doesn't exist, what isn't out there, and what speaks to us. and the 80s Saturday morning cartoon, that G.I. Joe kind of feel, is something that we all got really excited about, and something that really hadn't been done before.
After a absolutely crazy Saints Row, is there a link between these two games?
Absolutely, there is a link, and Agents of Mayhem, while it's its own game, does live in the Saints Row multiverse. It actually spins off of the end of Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, where Gat is given a choice by God, and Gat chooses to, the canon choice is that he chooses to reboot the world that had been destroyed in Saints Row 4 to before the Third Street Saints even existed, and they would never exist in this universe. We do, however, have a lot of callbacks to Saints Row. A couple of our characters are actually from Saints Row. We have Kingpin, who is Pierce Washington. We have Yeti, who is Oleg, and we recently announced that we were going to have Gat as a playable agent in the game.
Is there in this game some crazy guns like in Saints Row?
Yeah, you want to talk?
Yeah, sure. The Saints Row, right? We have tons of crazy weapons in Saints Row games, right? The chum gun is one of my favorites. You shoot people with chum, and then shark comes up and eats them. And we tried to find, well, what are analogs to those over-the-top weapons? And every agent has their own Mayhem ability, where it's like a big over-the-top kind of clear all the enemies out kind of thing that they do. Great example of this, Hollywood's ability. We used to call it, like, the early in development called it the Michael Bay mode. He like puts on sunglasses, a giant explosion happens behind him, and then for the course of this ability, explosions are going off everywhere. He gets a fully automatic weapon. And so every agent brings that to the table. But in addition to that, we have a agent back at base called Gremlin, and she develops Gremlin Tech. And the Gremlin Tech are weapons anybody can use. You equip them, you craft them, and they do crazy things. For instance, the ball pit weapon, which all the enemies that are in the area will get put into like this bubble, and you can like shoot the bubbles or hit them with your melee attack, and they'll go flying off into the distance. And there's over 30 pieces of Gremlin Tech in the game.
So, a link, but not the same game.
Correct. Yeah.
Imagine the game is released now, okay? People play with it, the press test it, or review it, sorry, pardon English. Which critics you hope to read?
I guess I would say I hope people say something to the effect of Agents of Mayhem is a fun, blast to play. I really enjoy it, and I love all the characters, and I love the story and the world that they created.
Yeah, and for me, I actually hope that there is some disagreement between different reviewers over which agents they like and dislike, and like, oh no, I loved this one, and somebody else is like, no, I hated this agent, because we want people to connect in different ways to each of these agents, and some people are going to like some are going to like others, and that's actually what we want and what we hope for.